All right, kids, gather around for a tale straight out of Paris in the late 1880s. We're talking old streets, horse carriages clattering around, and the River Seine flowing through the city like a shiny silver ribbon. And let me tell you, even back then, the Seine was no pristine paradise. It was already a dumping ground for everything from human waste and animal parts to garbage and dead bodies. You'd think twice before dipping a toe in that mess, just like today. So, one foggy morning, the city wakes up to the usual sounds of church bells and clopping hooves. But then, something out of the ordinary grabs everyone's attention. There, floating in the Seine, is a young girl, barely a teenager. She's got no bruises, no cuts, just a serene, peaceful expression on her face like she's napping. Her mysterious and calm face started showing up everywhere. Vladimir Nabokov wrote about her. Pablo Picasso painted her, and she became this muse bridging the worlds of art and human emotion. And guess what? If you've ever heard Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal in the line, "Annie, are you okay?" Yep, that Annie is our girl from the Seine. Her face went from a symbol of tragedy to global icon in the most unexpected ways. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Her serene face ended up playing a crucial role in saving millions of lives, earning her the title of the most kissed face in history. How did that happen? Well, it's a wild journey that mixes tragedy, art, and an incredible legacy. Stick around because this story is about to take some surprising turns. So authorities figured she might have drowned, maybe even taken her own life, but no one could say for sure. They tried putting up posters and spreading descriptions, but no one recognized her. Weeks passed, and her body just lay there. A real mystery right in the heart of Paris. Right by Notre Dame Cathedral, there was this place called the Paris Morgue, a creepy little spot that totally clashed with the city's beauty. Back in the late 1800s, it weirdly became a tourist hotspot. People from all over, driven by a mix of curiosity and a fascination with death, would show up to its public viewing gallery. So they'd set up fresh corpses behind glass windows for ID purposes, and folks would gather like it was some bizarre show. You had worried families, curious travelers, and even sneaky pickpockets hunting for easy marks. Among the bodies was our young woman from the Seine. She wasn't exactly a headline act, and there aren't really official records of her time there. Now, they didn't just dump the bodies there. They dressed them up in fancy clothes and posed them in lifelike positions. It was like some twisted Madame Tussauds. The Paris Morgue even popped up in city guidebooks as a must-see destination. Apparently, the catacombs full of skulls weren't enough. People wanted the full-on corpse experience. After visiting the Paris Morgue, tourists review the place. Great visit. Ambiance is to die for. Her calm face didn't grab as much immediate attention as the more dramatic cases, but it definitely left an impression on those who saw her. Even though her stint at the morgue was short and not too noticed, it was a crucial moment in her story. And from this quiet start, the unknown woman from the Seine would soon go from being just another anonymous corpse to becoming a timeless icon. In the quiet halls of the Paris Morgue, there was this one dude who just couldn't stop thinking about the serene young woman from the Seine. This nameless girl with her calm smile really got to him. He was so obsessed that he decided he had to do something, maybe even figure out who she was. So he got all artsy and made a plaster cast of her face. He took his sweet time, getting every little detail just right. It was supposed to help ID her, but it turned into something way bigger. Before long, this mask started popping up in the homes of artists and thinkers all over Paris. Her mysterious beauty snagged the attention of the city's creative crowd. Copies of her mask were everywhere, turning into a symbol of intrigue and inspiration. Poets like Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton, they were all over it, weaving her mysterious vibe into their poems. Albert Camus even likened her enigmatic smile to the Mona Lisa's. Then you've got Man Ray snapping these hauntingly beautiful black and white pics of her, and Alberto Giacometti. Dude went and made bronze statues inspired by her. Even Salvador Dalí, the guy who painted melting clocks, couldn't resist. He threw her face into his surreal paintings, blurring the lines between reality and dreamland. Her calm expression wasn't just about looking pretty. It was the whole mysterious package that hooked everyone. The unknown woman of the scene went from being a tragic mystery to a symbol of inspiration. She became this iconic blend of melancholy and beauty, capturing imaginations everywhere. So, the years rolled on, and the death mask of the unknown woman of the Seine started gathering dust in the attic of history. Her serene mug, which once had the Parisian art scene buzzing, was pretty much forgotten. Then, out of nowhere, the 1950s hit and things got interesting. Peter Saffer, an Austrian doc, knee-deep in developing CPR, needed a realistic training dummy. Enter Asmund Lerdahl, a Norwegian toy maker who once pulled his son Tore out of a watery grave. In 1955, Lerdahl saved his kid by grabbing the boy's lifeless body from the water just in time and clearing his airways. At the time, Lerdahl was a big shot in the toy world, cranking out children's dolls and model cars from this new soft plastic stuff. When he got asked to make a training aid for CPR, chest compressions and the kiss of life combo to save folks whose hearts had stopped, he was all in, especially after his own scare with Tore. Lerdahl had this idea for a mannequin torso that could play dead for CPR practice. But he needed a face, and what does he pull out of the memory vault? The chill, mysterious face of the unknown woman of the Seine. He remembered seeing her mask on his grandparents' wall years ago. That serene look was just perfect for making folks feel at ease with CPR. Plus, he thought a female doll would be less intimidating for trainees. So he dusted off her death mask and created Resusci Anne, the OG CPR dummy. In 1960, Resusci Anne hit the scene and became the world's first patient simulator, revolutionizing CPR training. Her face, once tied to a tragic story, was now saving lives everywhere. Millions of people learned CPR with her, turning her from a mystery into a symbol of hope and survival. If you've been one of the 300 million people trained in CPR, chances are you've kissed the Inconnue's face. The unknown woman of the Seine, she'd just snagged a new gig as the ultimate lifesaver, proving that even the darkest tales can have a twist of pure awesomeness. In the US, she's lovingly known as CPR Annie. They say her face has helped save about 2 million lives. Imagine that, a silent hero with a peaceful expression, comforting everyone who learns CPR. During training, instructors had this quirky habit. They'd ask, "Annie, are you okay?" And yeah, it even made its way into pop culture with Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. Resusci Anne's face became the go-to lifesaver all over the world. The mystery of the unknown woman of the Seine still had everyone scratching their heads. Was she really fished out of the Seine? Or was her story a mix of facts and some wild storytelling? Her perfectly preserved face kicked off all sorts of theories. Some folks thought she might have been a model striking one last pose. Others guessed she was a patient from back in the day. And then there were those juicy tales about her being linked to a famous German mask maker who made her death mask to honor his daughter who passed away too soon. Heavy stuff, right? But no matter the story, her impact is huge. That calm, serene expression keeps grabbing people's attention, showing up in art, literature, and of course, every CPR training session out there. Whether she was real or just a legend, the unknown woman of the Seine proves that one life, or even just the idea of one, can leave a legendary mark on history and humanity.